Welcome to our special storytelling program where we journey beyond the buzzing clippers and the lively debates to explore the real lives of the stars who became our Barbershop family. In 2002, the film Barbershop premiered and immediately created a cultural sensation. Set in the heart of Chicago's South Side, it wasn't just a movie about haircuts. It was a sanctuary. It was a place where community politics, love, and laughter intersected, with its sharp wit, controversial opinions, and a cast that felt like old friends. The film was not only a commercial success, but became an indelible part of the memories of an entire generation. It taught us that a barbershop is more than a business. It's a pillar of the neighborhood. But behind those classic characters, the struggling owner, the old-timer, the reformed criminal, and the ambitious stylist, were actors with destinies entirely their own. Over 20 years have passed since the open sign was first flipped. Time has etched very different marks upon their lives. Some continued to build empires, some faced battles with health and personal demons, and others saw their journeys cut short by heartbreaking tragedies. Let us now look back at the tumultuous, inspiring, and sometimes poignant journeys of the cast that became the soul of Barbershop. Ice Cube as Calvin Palmer. We begin with the man who held the shop together, Ice Cube. In 2002, at the age of 33, he starred as Calvin Palmer, the reluctant owner of his father's barbershop. Calvin was a man at a crossroads, torn between selling out for a quick profit and preserving a community legacy. Ice Cube's performance was grounded and authentic, capturing the frustration and the ultimate responsibility of a young man realizing the value of his heritage. He was the straight man in a room full of comedians, providing the emotional anchor for the film. But behind this calm facade was a life and career that had already weathered storms far greater than a struggling business. Ice Cube-born O'Shea Jackson had risen from the explosive controversy of NWA to become a cultural icon. However, sustaining that success required a constant reinvention that came with its own pressures. His marriage to Kimberly Woodruff has been a rock of stability since 1992, a rarity in Hollywood, but the weight of being a mogul actor, rapper, and basketball league founder, the Big Three, is immense. He often speaks of the anxiety that comes with such high stakes, admitting that the stress of business ventures weighs on him heavily. Despite facing criticism for his political stances and the immense pressure of running a multifaceted empire, Ice Cube has never folded. At 56, he stands as a titan of industry. His estimated net worth of $160 million reflects a career built on bold risks and tireless work. He turned Calvin Palmer's small shop into a franchise, mirroring how he turned his own life into a legacy. Cedric the Entertainer as Eddie Walker. Next, we turn to the voice of the shop, the hilarious and opinionated Eddie Walker, played by Cedric the Entertainer. At 38, Cedric stole every scene he was in. Eddie was the old-school barber with a controversial opinion on everything from Rosa Parks to O.J. Simpson. He was the comic relief, but also the unexpected sage who reminded everyone of the shop's importance. Cedric's performance was a tour de force of comedy that cemented his status as a king of laughter. But behind the laughter was a life filled with pressure and quiet battles. Cedric's career exploded after the Kings of Comedy, but maintaining that momentum required grueling touring schedules that often kept him away from his family. His marriage to Lorna Wells has endured, but not without the challenges of balancing a Hollywood career with home life. Furthermore, Cedric faced a health scare that could have ended his career. He battled a serious illness that he kept private for a long time, confronting his mortality while making the world smile. The man who played the oldest soul in the room has aged into a beloved elder statesman of comedy himself. Today, at 61, Cedric the Entertainer continues to act, host, and perform. He remains a pillar of the community, much like Eddie, proving that laughter is indeed the best medicine, even when the clown is hurting inside. His net worth of $25 million is a testament to a lifetime of bringing joy. Carl Wright as Checkers. Fred. Carl Wright played Checkers. Fred, the quiet, observant older man who was always in the shop, usually losing at checkers but winning at life with his silent wisdom. At 70, Wright brought a sense of history and dignity to the film. He wasn't just an extra, he was part of the furniture, a reminder of the generations that had passed through those doors. Before he was an actor, Carl Wright was a tap-dancing legend, touring with the likes of Duke Ellington. His journey to the screen came late in life, a second act that brought him joy but also came with the physical toll of age. After Barbershop, Wright continued to work appearing in Big Mama's House. But his health began to decline. The energy that fueled his dancing days faded, and he quietly stepped away from the limelight. Sadly, the game ended for Fred. Carl Wright passed away on May 19, 2007 at his home in Chicago due to cancer. He was 75 years old. He left behind a legacy of rhythm and grace, a man who spent his final years surrounded by a new family of actors who adored him. Sean Patrick Thomas as Jimmy James. Sean Patrick Thomas played Jimmy James, the educated, slightly arrogant barber who felt he was too good for the shop, but learned to respect its value. At 32, Thomas portrayed the tension between ambition and community. His character's journey was one of humbling himself to find his place. In real life, Sean Patrick Thomas faced the unique struggle of the intellectual actor. After his breakout in Save the Last Dance, he didn't chase the typical blockbuster fame. Instead, he made choices that prioritized his family and his craft, his marriage to Ionica. Laurent is a strong partnership, but the pressures of Hollywood constrain even the best bonds. He faced periods where roles were scarce, the pie industry unsure of where to place a handsome, intelligent black actor who didn't fit the street stereotypes. He persevered, finding a niche in dramatic roles and returning to the stage. By 2025, at 55, he remains a working actor respected for his talent and his stability. His net worth of $1 million reflects a career of steady quality work rather than flashy stardom. He is the quiet professional, much like the mature version of Jimmy James he grew into. Keith David as Lester Wallace. Keith David played Lester Wallace, the smooth-talking numbers runner who tries to buy the barbershop from Calvin. At 46, David brought his signature deep voice and charismatic menace to the role. Lester was the temptation, the easy way out that Calvin had to reject. Keith David is a legend. His voice is the soundtrack of a generation, from gargoyles to narration for Ken Burns documentaries. But his personal life has seen its share of hurdles. He has been married twice, navigating the difficulties of relationships while maintaining a prolific career. He has faced the challenge of being a working actor who is everywhere but sometimes overlooked for the biggest accolades. Despite this, he has never stopped. At 69, Keith David is busier than ever. He is a survivor of the industry, a man whose talent is undeniable. With a net worth of $5 million, he stands as a testament to the power of a great voice and an even greater work ethic. Eve as Terry Jones. Eve played Terry Jones, the only female barber in the shop. At 24, she was the fierce apple juice drinking stylist who demanded respect and didn't take nonsense from anyone. Especially her cheating boyfriend Eve brought a raw hip-hop energy to the role, making Terry a standout character who represented the strength of black women. But Eve's real life was a journey of finding peace after the chaos of fame. As a young rap superstar, she faced immense pressure and scrutiny. Her high-profile relationships and the demands of the music industry left her exhausted. However, she found her happily ever after in an unexpected place. She married British entrepreneur Maximilian Cooper and moved to London, stepping away from the U.S. spotlight to build a family. Her journey to motherhood was difficult, marked by fertility struggles that she bravely shared with the world. But in 2022, she finally welcomed her son, a joy that eclipsed all her platinum records. Today at 47, Eve is living a life of luxury and love. With a net worth of $25 million, she has transitioned from the pit bull in a skirt to a serene wife and mother, proving that you can leave the barbershop and find a castle. Cliff Frazier as Kwame. Cliff Frazier played Kwame, the quiet, imposing barber with a mysterious past. At 50, Frazier brought a silent strength to the ensemble. He didn't have the most lines, but his presence was felt. He was the muscle, the protector of the shops. Sanctity. Before acting, Frazier was a professional football player, a linebacker whose physical prowess translated well to the screen. However, the transition from athlete to actor is fraught with difficulty. After Barbershop, Frazier struggled to find roles that utilized his range beyond his size. The physical toll of his football career also caught up with him, leaving him with chronic pain that he battled privately. Tragically, Cliff Frazier passed away on August 17, 2014 at the age of 61. His death was a quiet loss to the community, a gentle giant who had moved from the gridiron to the soundstage, leaving a mark in both arenas. Troy Garrity as Isaac Rosenberg. Troy Garrity played Isaac Rosenberg, the white barber who desperately wanted to be accepted by the shop's black clientele. At 29, Garrity played the role with heart and humor, showing that respect is earned through skill, not skin color. Isaac's journey was one of the film's most touching subplots. Troy Garrity comes from Hollywood royalty. His mother is Jane Fonda, and his father is activist Tom Hayden. This lineage brought immense pressure to prove he wasn't just a nepotism baby. He worked hard to carve his own path, often taking character roles that allowed him to disappear. His personal life has been quiet and steady. He married Simone Bent in 2007, and they have kept their life largely out of the tabloids. He is an actor who treats the profession as a craft, not a lifestyle. In 2025, at 52, Troy Garrity continues to work in prestigious projects like Ballers Respected. For his talent and his low-key demeanor, with a net worth of $5 million, he has successfully built a legacy that honors his family while standing on its own. Anthony Anderson as J.D. Anthony Anderson played J.D., the bumbling thief who spends the entire movie trying to break into a stolen ATM. At 32, Anderson brought a physical comedy and a lovable incompetence to the role that made him a standout. J.D. was the chaotic element outside the shop, his failures providing a hilarious counterpoint to the debates inside. But Anthony Anderson's real life has been a roller coaster of high highs and terrifying lows. While his career soared with Blackish, his personal life faced severe turbulence. His marriage to Alvina Stewart was a long and complex journey marked by separations and reconciliations before finally ending in divorce in 2023. The emotional toll of ending a relationship that spanned decades was immense. Simultaneously, Anderson faced a life-threatening health battle diagnosed with type 2 diabetes. He had to completely overhaul his lifestyle to survive. He became an advocate for health, sharing his story to save others, even as he fought his own cravings and habits. He also faced serious legal allegations over the years, battles that threatened to derail his career, but which he navigated with resilience. Today, at 55, Anthony Anderson is leaner, wiser, and still working tirelessly. With a net worth of $25 million, he has proven that he is a survivor, overcoming health crises and personal heartbreak to remain one of Hollywood's most consistent stars. Lamar Tate as Billy. Lamar Tate played Billy, the young, eager, and somewhat naive friend of J.D., who helps with the ATM heist. At 32, Tate brought a comedic innocence to the criminal duo. He was the follower, the guy who just wanted to get paid but ended up in over his head. As the brother of Lawrence Tate, Lamar often faced the pressure of stepping out of his famous sibling's shadow. The struggle for individual recognition in Hollywood is a heavy burden. While he found consistent work, particularly in comedies like Don't Be a Menace, breaking into serious leading roles was a challenge. He faced periods of uncertainty, navigating an industry that often pigeonholes actors. Today, at 55, Lamar Tate continues to act and produce, often collaborating with his brothers. He has carved out his own space, proving that talent runs deep in the family. His net worth of $1 million reflects a steady grind in a tough business.